see everything that you are. I always have. Don't be afraid. You have so much pain in you. You. So much rage. That you can't contain it. You and I are the same. So, who's the monster?
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing all of that beautiful YouTube stuff. It helps us in the algorithm. I hope that today is the day that you subscribe. If you have yet to, you hit that red subscribe bar down below. We review movies, comic books, television shows here, old, new, possible futures of things. And today we're going to wrap up the last 2 episodes of Echo. I haven't really gotten a chance to finish this series up with you guys. I realized there was a comic book series I didn't finish up with you guys either, but that'll come in the next few videos. Dark X-Men number 5. Forgot that I got it, and then I forgot that I thought I did it, but I didn't. But let's get into Echo episodes 4 and 5. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Yeah. So episode 4 is named Talo, and episode 5 is Maya. The title name is Maya. Now, Talo is Maya's mother, and of course, Maya is Maya. If you have yet to notice or didn't pick up on it when I said it, each of these episodes are titled after ancestors of Maya, and ultimately landing on Maya herself as the series wraps up. Of course, it's Aliqua Cox as Maya Lopez, Chasky Spencer as Henry Lopez, aka Black Crow, Tantu Cardinal as Chula, Graham Greene, my guy, is Scully, Devery Lopez is Bonnie, Cody Lightning is Biscuits, Vincent D'Onofrio is Hey Mr. Wilson, Fisk, aka the Kingpin, and Zahn McLarna is William Lopez. Why do I feel like I mispronounced that? Now, where we left off with episode 3, we see that Kingpin has made his way back to Maya. And Maya is very, very surprised to see him. And he first has a couple of his goons hold her steady, so he winds up putting a contact lens in her eye. And basically what this contact lens does is help interpret and understand Maya and people who are talking to her without sign language. He thought that that would be the best way to communicate with her, and she happens to mention that if he really loved her, he would get to know how he would know how to do the sign language for her, right, to communicate with her. Like he overcomplicated learning how to do sign language by not doing it and just have technology do it. And I guess maybe in the long run it will help her. But for someone who's trying to say that I love you and I forgive you and stuff like that, they would be more prone to wanting to learn how to communicate with you better. So that was the point brought up. Um, he tells her because they used to have Sunday dinners together, and at one point he had told her that her training was done and was ready to, uh, fully take control of the tracksuit mafia and these other territories and what have you. And then the whole thing with Ronan and father passing away at the hands of Ronan. And we learned later on that it was Kingpin who secretly dropped that information for Ronan to find. Not dropped it like on the floor, but like just made it spread out. And so they go in and have their dinner. She doesn't drink the wine he bought, and she doesn't really eat the food or anything like that. But what he's asking her to do is to come back to New York with him. Also, the woman who's been communicating between Maya and Kingpin, the translator, when Maya accepts her promotion, so to speak, uh, that was when he felt like the interpreter's job was done, and they took care of that interpreter. You know what I mean? Which was pretty wild to see. Um, there's also a scene in here where it makes you feel. I like Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal of the Kingpin here. Uh, I know some people think that he was cucked by Maya in this series and in Hawkeye. And, I get what some people are saying about this series, but I also feel like, what is only men supposed to beat the Kingpin? I understand that the Kingpin's a big dude, but there are ways for a woman to take him out. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a normal woman, yes, a normal average woman, you're not going to take out the Kingpin, but you have special powers or this or that, yeah, you have a likelihood of beating him. Um, and it's not like she killed the Kingpin. She shot at him and he came back. So like and he got hit by a car. So he got beat up, but he didn't like. So he is tougher than all that. You know what I mean? But basically, he wants her to come home. There's this one scene where she's a little girl, young girl coming out of school, and she wants some ice cream. And she goes up to the ice cream vendor, but he's being very assholish to her, kind of making fun of her a little bit about, use your words. Like, a very obvious thing of that this girl is deaf and you're kind of being an idiot. All you have to do is step around the cart and have her point to where she wants, you know what I mean? But she took it in stride and got in the limo with Kingpin, Uncle Wilson, right? And he says, "Hold on a minute, sweetheart. Uncle's got to do something." And he gets up and he beats the snot out of this guy, right? The snot out of this guy. And it makes you feel like, yes, that's not the right thing to do. But it also goes to show you maybe you shouldn't be an asshole to a deaf little girl. You know what I mean? And I wonder if he was ever like that again. He might have gotten out of the ice cream business after that. And Maya seen him do this, and he thought initially she was going to be scared of it, but she comes over and kicks the ice cream guy a couple of times, feeding into her anger about life and her mother being gone, right? Because we got the backstory of how she wound up with the Kingpin and all this other stuff. And so she wants to think about it, and she goes and winds up talking to Henry about it as well. And they talk a little bit, knowing that, that's not what you want. We have to handle this together. I'm willing to help you now. And he brings her to Chula to talk things out between themselves so she can be allowed back into the family, be allowed back into the tribe, so to speak. And her and Chula speak quite candidly and honestly. I think that this was one of the better scenes out of the whole series, where they were very truthful with each other. And there's a conversation in which, yes, Chula was maybe a little bit more wrong in this, but is quite understandable why she did what she did. After the daughter died in the car accident, and her and Maya and the father left, Chula didn't want to see them. She couldn't stand to see Maya anymore because she reminded her so much of her mother, her own daughter, that she cut herself off from her own granddaughter and blamed the father, and she couldn't be around the granddaughter because of looking like the mother. And Maya says, but I was a child. That wasn't my fault what my father was doing. And it's not my fault that, I look like my mother. And they get into talking about the dreams that Maya's been having. And Chula admits that she's seen some of these same people because when she was pregnant with, Talo, it was a very 50-50 possibility that both of them could die or one of them could die. And so she signed herself out of the white man's hospital. How dare you be a white man in a hospital? But and she winds up giving birth like around some midwives and her sisters and stuff like that. And she's seen these same ancestors come to her, the same wood-tipped, red-topped woodpecker. Sorry, took me a second. And so she's realizing that when Maya's having these same visions that, it brought them closer together. Maya leaves and Henry asks how that went. She's like, 50-50 draining, right? Like, we made some headway, but I'm still aggravated. She goes and she winds up seeing Scully. Scully gives her a nice little piece for her leg that he helped fix. And basically, as Kingpin is waiting for her at the end of season 4, she takes off because she doesn't know what to do, right? And so basically, episode 5, we see Kingpin get mad that they lost contact with Maya. Maya goes back to Chula's house and sees that she made her a suit. And also during the last episode and this episode, we see that the mother had healing powers. When Maya was a child, before the mother died, she's seen this woodpecker, the same spirit bird, if you will, and she hit it with slingshot and nearly killed the bird. But the mother laid her hands on the bird and helped heal the bird. So it kind of connects with the women being life givers, men being life takers, right? And when the mother died in front of Maya, it it kind of seemed like she was trying to lay her hands on her, but it wasn't working. I would have liked to see a little bit more emotion out of the little girl who's playing Maya, because like you just viewing your mother dead now, and kind of just was like, oh, oh, a little nitpick I have there. You know, I want to see snot and tears. Okay. um, but irregardless, Maya goes back, sees the suit, agrees to go to the powwow. Now, the powwow is where everything comes together. Wilson has yet to leave for New York. He sends his men to take out everybody, uh, all the tribe, right? And so the men get there. Biscuit and Henry wind up taking care of them, which is Biscuit uh, uses a monster truck to crush the two vans that are full of guys with guns, basically making them stuck in there. And at one point, that little Scavats that was in um, trying to kidnap him and Maya in episode 2 and 3 winds up getting shot by Henry because he was trying to shoot a rocket launcher at the people performing in the powwow. And when it blows up in the sky, the host, in a way, I guess, is like, "Oh, the fireworks are going off early," not realizing like you MFers just almost bit the big one, my guy. But it's then leaving Maya, Bonnie, and Chula to face off against the rest of Kingpin's men and the Kingpin. When the Kingpin finally gives the order to take her out and everybody, Maya was able to channel finally fully her ancestors and somehow give some of the powers to Bonnie and Chula. Now, Chula is a 7-year-old woman, and I get that these are special powers, but I guess they need to explain them a little bit more to me, because this old woman just willy nilly threw a grown big man around. I get it, I'm not against girl power, but I am for realism. Says the man watching a show about superpowers. How dare you? And they defeat the men, and finally Maya decides to try to heal him, Kingpin's mind and eye, and brings him back to the moment where he killed his father because he was beating the mother. Um, I get that Maya wants Wilson to be healed from that situation, but to not be mad about that situation was kind of dumb advice. It should have been more, you shouldn't let this lead you anymore. Yes, you came from tragedy, and yes, you had to do a tragic thing, but it's time to put that life behind you now. Not be so dismissive, like, because how they had it was the mother was getting pounded against the wall as he was looking at the wall getting pounded on his side. And I'm sorry, man, I've seen a lot of domestic abuse in my life, and I've seen my mother uh, get hit really good, really good. And, you know, even though I've moved on from that time period of my life, I still think about how bad I felt for my mother. And I always stepped in some sort of way, whether it was with my mouth or my body, from the time I was 13 on. And I won't change any of that, because your ma is your ma is your ma at the end of the day. I shouldn't let anyone be doing that to your ma. You know what I mean? But he doesn't exactly accept the gift, in my opinion. because he needs that anger, he needs that rage to continue to do what he's doing. So he winds up taking off, the cops come, and then near the end, we see the whole Fast and Furious family barbecue scene at the end that they do in all these goddamn movies now. Damn you, Vin Diesel, damn you to hell. Um, so Maya and the family come together again. We won't be sure when we'll see Maya again, but we do see the Kingpin in his plane going back to New York watching a news broadcast about who's going to run for mayor of New York City. And that kind of sets up probably Daredevil Reborn. We might see Maya back there. We'll see. We were supposed to get 18 episodes, but we'll see. They've had to rewrite everything. But that's pretty much how the show wrapped up. And I'm good on No Season 2. We don't need a second season of Echo. There's really not much more to explore about her. Especially if you're not going to have her as a main character. I'm not saying to not have women-led series, but I think that Echo is not a character that necessarily needs that anymore at this point. I'd rather see, say a sequel to WandaVision or, man, you got Miss Marvel. That was a pretty decent show, in my opinion. I know most people didn't like that, but I enjoyed it a bit. I don't know. I'd have to think about which female characters would be interesting for me to see. Because I had always been a fan of She-Hulk. I didn't know Echo too much, but I like characters like Typhoid Mary, right? I would have been down to see showing her. I liked Jessica Jones when that was out. I thought that was a really good take on Jessica Jones. And the actress, Kristen Ritter, I think, did a really great job on that. That Purple Man series was crazy. Like, that arc, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I mean, you let me know down below what you think of this show. That's where we're going to leave this review. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, peace, Nookums.